Well, hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. You're probably here for a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons monster, and I will not disappoint. Here in the first half of August, we're covering a specific horror-themed antagonist and his minions that you can use for a horror Dungeons & Dragons game, and that would be the Pariah. He is a riff off the classic movie monster, the Mummy, but he's not undead, he's an aberration. He started existence as the prince of a desert kingdom that has long since been destroyed by several strange plagues, and he is the only survivor, sort of. He was infected with all of the plagues, turned into an aberration because of it, and is now quite mad, full of mirth and generosity, except with what he's giving out, which is plagues. He and his minions cover 3 different subgenres of horror, that being body horror, cosmic horror, and disease horror. And we have the last one of his minions today, the Motted Suckling. The Motted Suckling is a lithe, rubbery creature with sallow skin that's dotted with black, inky spots of infection. It was once a humanoid, but nothing of that really remains. It doesn't have sex characteristics. It's completely hairless. Its head is a teardrop shape that ends in a puckered hole, and it's inside that hole that its proboscis waits to uncoil and strike into its victims. They wear the tattered clothing of beggars and lepers, but it's very hard with the skin and the head shape to think that they're anything other than some sort of alien menace, especially when you see their hands, which have fingers half again too long. All of those lessers that are in the Pariah's throng, whether they're beggars or lepers, madmen, or just the desperate who are looking for some sort of inspiration and a way to break free of their current circumstances, end up being infected with a whole host of eldritch diseases, and they all perish from them. The most devoted of these lesser beings, however, does not let death keep them down. Their corpses are little more than moth pupae, and they tear themselves open in a spray of fervid juices, and out comes a Motted Suckling. They now become completely enthralled to the Sultan of Sickness's whims and are like a blend of man and mosquito that swarm over his opponents and suck them dry. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a Motted Suckling statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The Motted Suckling is a challenge rating 2 medium aberration that is chaotic neutral. They've got an okay armor class and number of hit points. They are resistant to necrotic and poison damage and the poison condition. They do have dark vision, and while they understand comment and deep speech, they cannot speak. Ability-wise, they do have alien sight, so magical darkness does not impede their dark vision. They do have innate spellcasting of Ray of Enfeeblement 3 times per day. They do have spider climb, and they do have shadow stealth. Action-wise, they do have their main attack of a proboscis, so when it hits, it grapples the target, starts sucking blood out of them. It does damage every round, and the Motted Suckling heals half of that damage back. In addition, once the sucking stops, if the victim is still alive, it has to make a Constitution save or contract sewer plague. Of course, it might be full of blood or have its proboscis stuck in someone else, and it still has a claw attack that does a little bit of damage. And there we have the last of the Pariah's minions, as well as the least of them. But in large numbers, they could really cause a problem for any group of would-be heroes. I'd love to hear how you would use them in your own campaign down in the comments below. Of course, you could find them, the rest of the Pariah's minions, and hundreds more horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, that are all perfectly free at bossofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the horror fiction that I write, that includes Grease Paint right there, which is book 1 in the Crimson Thread series, or book 2, which is Psychopomps, and comes out on August 30th, so reserve yours now, you can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com, and there's also some non-Dungeons & Dragons horror role-playing stuff there as well. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention, and enjoy the rest of the day.